right, everybody. Welcome to Slap Son, the Power Slap 12 reaction pod. It's here. We did it. It's kind of a beast. So we're doing it in part 1 and part 2. First up, we got the champ on board. We got Brandon. We got Marisol. We got Cesar. We got Hunter. We got Pono. Such good little behind the scenes talk. Such good defending the belt talk. Such good just coming up in the women's division talk. And there's also a little bit of retirement talk. Not really sure, what's going to happen there, but enjoy it, watch it, and of course, like and subscribe this shit, man. Come on. It's nothing but love. Hope you enjoyed, everybody. Let's go. Part 1.
3, 2, 1, yeah, that's a knockout. They call me kamikaze, put you in heaven's lobby. All gas, no brakes, you can never stop me. Nah, no, you can never stop me. Yeah, cause I'm the power slap king.
Slap some, baby! All right, man, you ready?
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Slap Son. We got the champ in the building. What happened last weekend? Hold up the belt, son. Hold up the belt. Round 2 went his way. The Butcher's the champ. Let's see what he has to say. We're going to walk through his match, break it down. Everybody, give it up for Brandon the Butcher Bordeaux.
Let's go. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for talking to me right after your fight, dude. That was cool. Got to sit down for a few minutes and just kind of be in the moment with you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it was great. Definitely the emotions flowing, you know what I mean? Feeling all the feelings from the match and everything. So, yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I want to, when we did talk, and I think the audience, should hear this as well. The life of a fighter is weird sometimes. There's a lot of sacrifices. The surface of it is, I got to go to these matches on the event. I got to compete for the belt. Oh, now I am the champ. And people see these things. But I really want, before we dive into your fight, just tell people the sacrifice you made to get up there on the stage this time. It was big, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that go on. The sacrifices that I make, you know what I mean? Only those closest to me really know what I go through in order to even get, you know what I mean, to match nights. There's tons of sacrifices and everything that go into it. And, especially with this one, I was, so dedicated. I'm dedicated to all of them, you know what I mean? But this was just a whole nother level. When all that stuff happened December 6th, I pretty much knew that night, you know what I mean, by talking to the brass and everything that March 7th was coming. So, it was 3 months till fight night really then exactly. I mean, it was December 6th, so it was almost 3 months to the date. And, I went home and through the holidays, everything like that, I say super dedicated, super disciplined. I didn't let my weight get up and high and out of control. You know what I mean? Like I said, with the holidays and everything around, it's easy to let your weight, Yeah, exactly. So, through Christmas, through New Year's, through all of that, I kept my weight down. I tried to stay within 10 pounds the entire time, that whole 3 months, which sometimes can be challenging because if I let myself, I'll get up to 215, 217, right around in there. So to keep my weight, stay within 195 the whole time, it definitely took a whole nother level of dedication and discipline. But that's why I'm sitting here, as a champion today, is because of my dedication, is because of my discipline, and it's because of how hard I work.
Yeah, dude, 100%. Even sacrificing time with your business and things like that. I mean, these are big things. And I joked with you right after. I was like, oh, you literally bet the house on this match, which was kind of in jest, but a lot of it, a big piece of that is actually true. You gave up a lot to pursue this and work and do your thing. And
yeah, that was it. That was another thing. You know what I mean? I tried to eliminate all distractions, and I'm not saying obviously my job or business is a distraction, but that takes up a lot of your time. I mean, that it takes up a ton of your time, and luckily I have, my brother who's an amazing partner in all of this. Him and I had a conversation, about right around probably the start of January or so, or just after Christmas. We had a conversation. I'm like, hey man, we know what I'm chasing, we know what I'm after. You know what I mean? I want to be 100% locked in on Isaiah in this match only. I said, so I'm going to take a little bit of a step back from the business, You know what I mean? And luckily he's been able to step up, and he's taking care of things on his own. And, he's actually out doing stuff right now, even, you know what I mean? While I'm doing, interviews and going to the gym after this, you know what I mean? So I'm still working, and he's still grinding and taking care of things, so, shout out to my brother for being able to do that. It definitely takes a lot off my shoulders where I can step back and just literally concentrate on this match, all day, every day is what I was doing.
No, man, that's huge. I mean, talk about being there for your family, man. I love that. That's huge. Yeah. Well, hey, let's share the screen here and get right into it. Let me. Here we go, man. All right, let's walk through this thing.
The thing of beauty.
A thing of beauty. All right, well, everyone, we're just going to start out with him walking out. We might skip a little bit so we can get to the match. Let me put this on mute. Okay. So, Brandon, just honestly, man, is this your first time seeing it, by the way?
I've watched it back a couple times already. I'm such a film studier, man. I couldn't resist. I actually watched it back. I think we got back to Circa at like 4 or 5 in the morning. I actually sat down and watched it then immediately. And then, I've watched it a couple times since I've been home. I like to, even in a one and done situation like that, there's definitely still things that I can pick up, that I can do better. So, I mean, I've already been all over studying the film already.
Dude, I dig it. I love it, man. Well, here you are, happy as can be, just walking out. Let's get you up on this stage, man. Dude, I actually, I want to ask you, what is this like? Is this walking out, seeing people trying to high five you and all that stuff? I mean, by the looks of it, it doesn't seem as like it's distracting.
No, to me it's not. You know what I mean? I really embrace the crowd. I embrace that energy. I mean, some people can get out there and get into those bright lights and completely freeze up. And, to me, I've wrestled in front of big crowds growing up. And then when I was in MMA, I was in front of pretty decent crowds. So to me, I wasn't a stranger to any of it all. So, I mean, it's cool when you're walking out right there, you're with the cameras and everything, and then all of a sudden you turn the corner, and then when you turn the corners, when you see the crowd, you see the stage, you see the light, you know what I mean? And every time I just get the biggest smile on my face of them coming out, and I just, use that energy from the crowd, and then to see, all of my supporters, my brother, whoever's right there on the edge, wanting high fives and just kind of getting you ready to go. The last couple, I really had a thing where I walked out, I found my brother right there and everything and his buddies. So it's just been, embracing that energy coming out. I absolutely love it.
And the shoes, got a nice shot of the shoes there.
The shoes, yeah. We always
have man.
Kicks on up there for sure.
So what are we signing on the podium? What's that stuff?
I wrote God's plan. This whole thing, you know what I mean? I've been right, this has all been part of God's plan, Even the way, things went December 6th, the way things went on December 6th, you know what I mean? This has all been part of his plan for me, you know what I mean? Building these matches up into, even bigger, this rematch was even bigger. Like I said, this has all been part of God's plan. It's been part of, my whole thing for this. So when I walked up there, I wrote God's plan on that, and, here we are. That was all part of God's plan.
Wow, man, that's so cool. All right, here comes Isaiah coming to it. We're talking to him too, so we'll oh, nice little ad here. Hold on, bro. It's funny. I got to tell you, when we did the live last time, we watched it. They actually flagged the video. I had to respond to the UFC and say, "Hey, some of these guys haven't even seen their matches," and they let it go. So we're learning as we go, but we're getting it.
Yeah. Yeah, right there, I had goosebumps. I wasn't I thought maybe it looked like I was pointing at my tattoo, but pacing back and forth like that, I had goosebumps. I was just look at the goosebumps.
Oh. Dude, you were
it's just the energy up there, man. It's just
it never gets old. I love seeing you guys pace. I love seeing the excitement, the intensity. It never gets old, man.
Yeah, no, it's great. Locked in. I was extremely locked in for this, to say the least.
And if you look real close, I'm back there with my kids.
No, it's so awesome to look out in the crowd and see everybody out there, see everybody supporting, having a good time. And that's why I try to bring the crowd into all of it. You know what I mean? You don't want to be quiet or boring in there or anything like that. Bring the crowd in, get the crowd having fun, get them on their feet. You know what I mean? Get people excited. That's what all this is about. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? We're in the entertainment business. So the more entertainment you can bring up there, the more fun it is.
100%. I love it when the fighters get that. We're in the eyeball business, baby.
Yep, that's exactly right. So you have fun with it up there. Bring the crowd in, enjoy it.
All right, just getting some
working on my nose.
Here. On your nose. Oh yeah, did we miss that already?
Yeah, that was
okay, here we go. Oh shit, here we go, Brandon. What's up, dude?
Yeah, so walking into this first shot, I've been telling Isaiah for weeks. I kind of figured, kind of knew that, he would probably get the toss on this one. And I told you, yeah, I told him, and I've been saying all over social media, you better be perfect. You got one shot, and you better be perfect. So he obviously was not perfect with this shot. So
Yeah. So he lines up. Oh, dude, the intensity is nuts.
yeah, for sure. I think he knew, you know what I mean, that he really had to take me out with one shot. You know what I mean? He felt it, you know what I mean? No matter what everybody wants to say, you know what I mean? Him and I knew what happened up there December 6th. He felt it, you know what I'm saying? So that's why, he knew he was going to have to be perfect, and he was a little off of his mark there. Maybe he swung a little too hard, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, he was a little far
Try,
back.
try, yeah, trying to kill me, that, knowing that, he probably had to put me out on that first shot or hurt me really bad. Um, he hurt my nose. He didn't hurt me really bad, but yeah, he got me high right there. And another thing I don't understand, how the fuck is that not a foul? I mean, the match played out like it played out, but at the same time, that's the definition of a club right there. Holy shit. I mean, his
So
whole palm was in my eye and in my nose.
yeah, it's funny. I get a lot of uh each match. I get a little bit more DMs, right, from like
Yeah.
different strikers who won, and I've come to this conclusion. I'm just glad I'm not a ref, dude, because
Yeah, right.
I'm so happy I'm not a ref. So did you feel it immediately, or did you not know you were bleeding till it was trickling down?
I didn't know until I started walking back. As I'm walking back towards Ron, that I've seen, I mean, just a little bit of blood on my nose right there. And I just figured, oh, I had a bloody nose, no big deal. And Ron goes to wipe it off, and he's like wiping it again. He's like, oh, you got like a little scratch or a hole right there, and it wouldn't, obviously wouldn't stop bleeding. And then they start bringing the doctors and stuff up in there, and I'm like, I'm thinking in my head, don't you dare, you guys try to stop this over some bullshit again. Like after how December played out, and then and then this right there. So I was glad. I had even actually looked over at Mark, and I was like, can we just tape it? You know what I mean? Because in wrestling, you get a bloody nose and it don't stop. We'll shove stuff up your nose and we'll just tape it all the way around. But you know what I mean? The rules with the commission, everything's like, no, we can't do that. So finally, you know what I mean? They tried to get it to stop a little bit, and then Mark was finally like, just wipe it off and let's go. So I knew once he gave me that shot, I was just said, I just need my one shot. I just need my one shot. And once Mark said, all right, let's go, I was like, all right, here it is.
So do they not put here? Let me hit pause real quick. Do they not put tape on your nose because they think it'll cause an injury to the hand? Like, why don't they let you do that?
Yeah, I don't. There's got to be something there. You know what I mean?
Okay, so
Something.
you're still a little clueless on that as well.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit clueless on it as well. But I guess it makes sense. You know what I mean? They don't want us having anything on your face that that can
Sure.
whatever. So I get it when he said that, it made, I was like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Just stop bleeding, or even if it was just trickling down. I mean, it is what it is, as long as it's not obstructing my vision, or you know what I mean, or messing with anything. Like I said, once Mark was like, all right, just wipe it, let's go. I knew right there in my head. I was like, all right, game time. I knew it was up. You know what I mean? Like I said, I knew, and I've been saying that it was gonna be a one and done situation. I put in so much work this time. I put in so much work every time, but you know what I mean. I doubled the workload this time, and the strength training camp that I went through, and then we also went through a strength training and striking camp as well. You know what I mean? I put so much work into my technique that I'm at this point I'm extremely confident that I can and I will put everybody out with one shot.
Dude, well, speaking of people, the technique's about to go live here. So
Yeah.
what was Ron telling you, if anything, and then what's going through your head as you're lining up the shot?
Yeah, so Ron, Ron just told me, go get your title. We all knew what happened in December. And he said, go out there and just land your shot, land clean. You know what you're made of, you know who you are. So I took a second. I was looking up, praying right there as I'm chalking my hands up. I knew, that I just needed to land clean shot. You know what I mean? And the technique, to me, the technique and the accuracy are the number one things in the sport. And the mental game. But you know what I mean? The technique and the accuracy. So I knew, you know what I mean? I just needed my shot. And after what I did to Isaiah in December, like I knew how this was going to play out. You know what I mean? So as I'm walking up there right now, I told myself, I said, all right, it's game time. So I line up, I check my hand placement. I always measure, you know what I mean? Anticipating, some things that he does. There's definitely some things that I pulled from film. So I measure a certain way, and here we go. We just let it rip. Bam.
When you see him drop, Was all you could do is just scream, or did you have any thoughts? Oh, there's the
I,
caller.
you know, I, yeah, I think, when I hit him and he dropped, I kind of figured, you know what I mean? Because every time I've touched him, I've hurt him, and I've hurt him bad. You know, the 3 times that I've touched him, it's been, pretty bad each time. You know what I mean? So I knew, you know what I mean? As soon as I made contact and I seen him start tipping like that, you know what I mean? I just kind of figured, and then I pulled, some reverse psychology on him right there as he's hearing me scream at him to stay down, so he's trying to force his way up. And it's funny because, oh, buddy there tried to give me shit last time about taking a knee and how he took a knee. I mean, I put the film out there on the last match. He didn't take a knee. He went to get up just like he just did, and he fell back to a knee. And when he fell down to his knee, he looked up at crazy and kind of decided, oh, I should probably stay here. Ended up staying here and kind of got a long count, and that's how he ended up recovering. You know, so as soon as he went to stand up like he did, and he come all the way up to his feet, I knew right then and there. I was like, oh, he's in trouble. And when he starts stumbling to the side, and Mark let him go for a second, you see, like they grabbed him or whatever, and then Mark lets him go so that way he can't, try the controversy. But he was only 3 or 4 steps away from falling off the stage. So at that point, Mark had to chase him down and grab him right there, right here. So you go and catch him. I mean, he's not very far from the edge of the stage. He kept going. He was going to fall right off the stage.
And then here you are on your knees, man, just so emotional. Like,
Yeah.
is it relief, or is just straight up, who cares? I did it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's like I don't want to say necessarily relief, but it's just like the overwhelming, and I'm overwhelming, but just the feeling of, all the work that I put in, everybody's there to support me, everything that I've been through in my life, you know what I mean, to get to this point. The biggest thing is all the supporters, and, like I said so many times, all the kids back home, all the kids that I coach, all the people that, took time out of their schedule to fly all the way out to Las Vegas to be out there with me, just spend the whole week with me. You know what I mean? That was my biggest thing. And I told my parents, I told everybody around me, I said, especially on Friday, I said, you know what, my biggest thing tonight is I want to celebrate with all of you, everybody who's out here.
I love that.
Everybody that's supporting me in general, everybody that's back home, like I've said so many times, this goes so much deeper than me. So my biggest thing was, I wanted to get that victory, and then I wanted to celebrate with all of my supporters. And, just like I have, it's been amazing, the amount of support and everything that I have. And, I couldn't be more thankful for the situations that I'm in and the support that I have. That's just beautiful right there, too.
Dude, we'll stop on that shot. That was nuts. So, I mean, the natural question is, it's the fight game never stops, man. It's like you work so hard, you accomplish what you want, and then immediately everyone's asking you what's next. Like, yep. I feel like saying, let the man enjoy the moment for a couple of days. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But it sounds like trilogy from your opinion.
Yeah, I kind of think so. You know what I mean? To me, that's what makes the most sense. That's the biggest story. You know what I mean? Kind of in all of Power Step right now, and it's the hottest story. So we might as well, keep running with it. In my opinion, it's gonna go the same exact. I know it's gonna go the same exact way. You know what I mean? You just know as an athlete sometimes when you have somebody's number. You know what I mean? Isaiah's done an amazing job. He ran right through. You know what I mean? He ran through this division until he's seen me. And like I said, when it comes down to things, and I've been through it with wrestling, I mean, I've competed so much, when somebody's got your number, and I've got every digit of Isaiah's number, you know what I mean? So yes, let's run the trilogy back, and I'm due to win the toss this time, and it's going to be another complete one and done. He's not even going to get a shot this time.
And, one thing that was that Isaiah was good at last year was being very active, and I feel like you've got the same mentality. Let's go.
Yeah, I told Erica, when I first came into all of this, the very first conversation I had with Erica was, I mean, anyone, anytime, anywhere, any weight, really, I don't care. And I've gone exactly by that. Every time my phone has rang, I've said yes. There's been multiple people who have turned fights down with me. You know what I mean? I've went out multiple times as just a backup. You know what I mean? I've obviously went out and coached. I've preached, you take every opportunity that they're willing to give you. You know what I mean? I'm the perfect example of that. You take every opportunity that they're willing to give you. You know what I mean? That's helped put me in the position that I am today, and now I'm world champion.
Man, fantastic, dude. Fantastic, man. Yeah, you can't. One thing that I've been learning, I mean, you hear about it in the press and stuff, being an MMA guy, but one thing I'm learning in real life, along with you guys, is if you really do put forth that effort and you answer that call and you say yes, they bring it on back to you, and they provide what you want, which is a fight.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? If you shouldn't ever turn down a fight anyways. I mean, unless you really have something majorly wrong or something's going on. You know what I mean? So when when that phone, there's so many people out there that are, wanting an opportunity. You know what I mean? So when they call and somebody turns down a fight or something, that puts you on, you know what I mean? That doesn't put you on a very good list with them.
Bad juju.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. So, I was supposed to, I had that. I come off the show, and then I had a match with Eddie last February, and then last April I was supposed to go against Garrett Grimes, and he turned that fight down. That dude's kind of a pussy, anyways. So, and then I know they had offered it to Wes at that time too, and Wes had went and turned it down. So
Really?
so yeah, so I went out. I just went out as a backup. You know what I mean? Erica just had me weigh in as a backup. That was when I think AJ was going against Azael. So they just had me come out as a backup and everything, and then then June came around, and say that was the thing. Then June came around, and Isaiah he got to jump me in June because he was ranked behind me at that time, and then he got to jump up and go against Wes, and then I had to take on a newcomer as in with Brandon Rhodes, and like I said, I don't say no to anything, you know what I mean? So, but at the same time, I did sit here and wonder, I'm like, why the hell is Isaiah jumping me and getting Wes, and I'm getting the new guy? Isaiah had just come back from his year-long suspension, so it was like why I thought that it should have been me and Wes in June, and then Isaiah and Brandon. Like I said, everything happens for a reason. Everything played out how it was supposed to play out. Isaiah made a run there and, taking out Ryan Wallace in April, and then, being the first one to knock out West in June, and then goes over to Abu Dhabi in October. It ends up flatlining John, and then runs into me in December. He definitely, he ran through the division there until he came up to me, you know what I mean? And now, I think we've seen that, I firmly believe that I'm on a whole nother level than everybody in this division. And the reason why is because of the work that I put in. Like, if you think that you're going to beat me, or not even beat me, if you think that you're going to even compete with me, you better be working your ass off. And I know for a fact, and I'm not trying to throw jabs at anybody or anything like that, but I know for a fact that there's nobody inside of PowerStep that puts in the amount of work that I do. We just talked about putting my job and putting my business on hold, for me to be able to sit here and do this kind of stuff. I mean, I am very obsessed with all of this. I am very dedicated to all of it. I live in the gym, and when I'm not in the gym, I'm still working on getting better. I'm still at home, studying film, on my rest days, I'm still doing stuff. There's still, jaw exercises that you can do. There's hand exercises that you can do. There's film, study, 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 study. That's how I picked Isaiah apart, and that's why I was so confident going into even December. I've watched so much film that I feel like I know Isaiah just as well as he knows himself when it comes up to being on that stage. So when I have an opponent or I have somebody I'm going against, I'm going to study every single move that they make, so I can go up there and I can pick them apart exactly like I just did.
Well, man, you can tell it in your voice and your energy, like, anyone who hears that, and for people that might be watching, anyone who just sees what you just did, I mean, you can feel that, man. Like, you're here, you're ready, you're studying, you want to go, and you're proving yourself out. So big congratulations to you, my guy. And you got the strap. And so you could have a quick turnaround. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Are you thinking April or?
Well, let's see what happens. No, that's not going to end up. I don't end up. Actually, I heard a rumor that we're not doing anything in April now. But
yeah, I heard some shit with the commission. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. I was really intrigued by the whole possibility of Miami. Like, I wanted to coach. To be honest with you, that would have been so nice to get that win and then turn around and coach April. I do have a little bit of a broken nose, so we're gonna be. Yeah, I'm gonna be. That's probably gonna take 8 weeks or so to heal. So we'll kind of see. You know what I mean? I think this is gonna kind of determine, when things come back and then how the cards play out and stuff. So if we're not doing April, I don't know if they'll have something for May. Obviously, June's International Fight Week, so we know that there should be a big card then. So yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just kind of see what happens. I'm obviously always game, to fight, but we'll see what happens with my nose healing up, and we'll see how the cards all play out. But yeah, obviously get excited to get right back up there and now start defending. I chased the title. I got to where I want, and now it's time to step it up and work even harder. That's the thing, is when you become champion, it is a time just to relax and be like, okay, I did it. No, now it's time to grind even harder. And that's another thing. I've had the conversation with my brother already about like our business and stuff. For the time being, he's kind of taken everything over. You know what I mean? If there's times that I can be out there and help, I'm going to. But you know what I mean? I'm so dedicated and so disciplined to all this right now that, you know what I mean? For the foreseeable future right now, I've got all this going on. I'm taking a step back from my business, and I will just be 100% focused on power slap all day, every day. So, you know, that's another thing. Good luck to all you middleweights. You know what I mean? Because I'm putting in the work every single day. I'm going to continue to put in the work, you know what I mean? And now with not having to worry about my job and everything that comes with that, you know what I mean? Power slap is the number one thing that's on my mind, and defending this title is the number one thing that's on my mind. And I plan on keeping this title until I decide to walk away from the sport. It's going to be very, very, very hard to beat me. It's going to be very, very, very hard to outwork me. You know what I mean? I've set goals for myself, you know, to keep this title and defend it until I decide to, you know, that I'm done and that I'm going to walk away. And that's exactly what I plan to do.
Man, I love it, Brandon. I love it. I love the energy. I love the focus. And you got it. Like I said, congratulations. Thank you so much for coming on, man. And
Of course.
any last, I mean, we've said a lot. Any last words for your fans, the middleweight division again, or anything like that? And then, of course, maybe most importantly, where can people find you on social media to follow your journey?
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook, Instagram. My Facebook's Brandon Bordeaux. My Instagram's The Butcher Bordeaux. I'm working on building up my TikTok and stuff a little bit, getting the Twitter and stuff going. So all my handles are all kind of the same thing. Yeah, I do want to say thank you to all my fans. You know what I mean? Anybody who supports me, like I said, I have so much support back home. You know, we're from just a small town. We're a couple thousand people, you know what I mean? But we have other towns surrounding us, and it's crazy the outreach of support and stuff that I had. We're having one of the local bar and restaurants. We're having a big party this weekend, a big championship party, and I've got people driving in from all over the place. I mean, we got people driving in from over an hour and a half away to come and see me and be with me and hang out for the night. So, you know what I mean? When people take time out of their day and out of their schedule, you know what I mean, to watch me or support me or, you know, come up here and hang out and take pictures and, you know what I mean, celebrate that, you know what I mean? It means the absolute world to me to have the amount of support that I have, you know, and, all the kids, you know, the kids that I coach, you know what I mean, for them to be able to see everything last night. I took the belt into wrestling practice, and for the kids to be able to see that.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, for the kids to be able to see that, you know what I mean, that feels really good to me because it just shows them, you know, like I've said in interviews, it just shows these kids and it shows my kids that, you know, when you want something and you set your mind to it, you can achieve absolutely anything. You just have to be obsessive, you have to be dedicated, you have to work your ass off. But everything in this life is doable and everything's right there for you to achieve, but you have to put in the work. You know, you can't just expect things given to you or expect things handed to you. You really have to put in the work. And then as far as the middleweight division goes, y'all motherfuckers better get to work. You know what I mean? There isn't anybody that's outworking me. You know what I mean? If you think, like I said earlier, if you think that you're even going to compete with me, let alone try to beat me, you better outwork me. And that's never happening. I will make sure that nobody ever outworks me.
Man, all right. Well, Brandon, very well said. Thank you again. And let's let this bitch upload. One sec. Brandon Bordeaux, everybody, the Butcher. Dude. All right, man. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, everybody. Welcome to Slap Son. We got the man in the building. We met him over the weekend. He did his thing. He was going to put on a war, and guess what? He did. He didn't go down. He went slap for slap, strike for strike. We got him again. We're going to walk through the match. Everybody give it up for Cesar Gonzalez. What's up, my guy?
What's up, man?
Dude, crazy weekend. How are you?
I'm good. Couldn't be better, brother. So I mean, back to regular life, but but definitely good, man. Feel blessed. Feel happy overall. You know, didn't get the result we wanted, but you know, that's the game, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. That's the game, man. But I got to tell you, we lucked out because Steve Osongo hooked us up with some guest passes. And so we actually got to, we got to see your match live. And man, I want to, honestly, from a fan's perspective, I want to run it back. I feel like we could do that one again.
I mean, I'd be down. I'd really be down. It was a great matchup. I mean, yeah, 100%. So, Steve actually reached out to me and said that he'd be down too. So, I mean, if that's what the powers to be want, send me a contract tomorrow. I'll sign up. Yeah, so.
I love it, dude. I love it. If you don't mind me asking, what is your day to day? What do you do for work, or you stay at home dad? Like we didn't ask any like personal questions on the one over the weekend.
yeah. I wish I was a stay-at-home dad, but no, I work for I work for United Rentals, which is like a big heavy equipment rental company. I'm a salesman, so basically going out there doing sales
No
calls,
kidding.
putting stuff on rent. Yep. So that's what I do day to day. Other than the dad stuff, yeah. So other than that, dad, that's my other job, which is a full-time job as well. I'm actually out here picking up my son. We have a jujitsu practice in a couple hours, so that's part of before I go home. That's what I do. These are my long days, is what I call them. So I mean, but it's all worth it, brother. It all feeds the soul.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to say, I'm very familiar with United Rentals because growing up, I was in construction. My family had a subcontracting company, and we would rent from you guys all the time. So, all right,
All right,
good looking
nice,
out.
nice, nice. Perfect. So yeah,
What's your
that's what I
territory?
do. So I have pretty much all of Miami. So if you've been to South Florida, so like right at where Hollywood starts, which is right outside of Miami, all the way down to Key West. So everything in between, that's my territory. I'm the rep for climate. So pretty much when it gets hot, people call me temporary ACs, things like that. So
The fans
yeah,
going,
yes sir.
dude.
Yeah.
Very cool. Hey, that's not a bad. Well, A, that's not a bad territory, big population, but B, that's not a bad thing to be hustling when it's so fucking hot in Miami.
Yeah, I mean, we were yeah, you were there with me. We were in Vegas, freezing our ass off at these events, and it's 80 degrees here in Miami. Like the sun, like it's hot. There's no wind or cold here at all, ever.
It's just dead heat all the time with a little bit of rain
All
every
the time.
15 minutes. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
yeah. At this time of the year, we don't get any rain, so this is the best time. If you're ever gonna come to Miami, March is the best month.
Dude, that's actually good to know because every time my wife and I love going, and I got to tell you, you are validated because we never went in March and it was raining like every 20 minutes. So we got to go back
Yeah,
this month.
absolutely, you got to.
Well, dude, let's pull this bad boy up. So for the people watching or listening, um, he was on the earlier fights, so we couldn't find the full fight, but we found something on TikTok that's strike for strike. So, dude, what we'll do, let's pull this thing up and let's just talk about it, man.
Yeah,
Let's share my screen. I love you got the boy in jujitsu. That's so cool, dude.
yeah, man, yeah.
I wish my boys are in
He's
that.
he's loving it, man, bro. Sometimes I didn't like it. Kind of was something that we just tried to see because I did it, when I was younger, and I was like, let's see if we got to put him. He has to do something. So let's try jujitsu, and sure enough, we're 7 months in now, and he loves it, and I love it. We do it together. It's a bonding thing. So it's been awesome, honestly.
Dude, I think that's so great. My
Shout out to Flow 305 down here in Miami, best jujitsu school in Miami, 100%.
All right, man. Flow 305 is doing their thing. My I just barely started. My boys just barely got to the point where they want to start working out, you know? So we've
Yeah,
been waking up early and hitting the weights in the morning, but there's not a lot. Okay, there are jujitsu gyms in the Salt Lake area, but they're just not too close. So we're gonna start with the weight, see how that goes, and then if they really do want to get into it, I would love to go like Saturday mornings or something like that.
yeah, 100%. It's definitely great exercise.
All right, dude, we got just strike for strike. It goes kind of quick. You may have already seen it, but let's just, I'll pause when necessary, but let's just walk through, man. Like, let the people kind of feel and hear your mentality going up and strike for strike and just the whole experience.
Yeah, for sure. So
All right, you're lining
here
up.
the first strike, yep. So caught him with the good one. Caught him with the good one. He ate it, I didn't know what so that was him going at me. Um I don't I think I took that round just because my strike was a little bit more effective. He didn't move me at all. So I didn't,
Right, right.
in my head I was clear headed the whole time versus the first time that I performed. I mean, I was clear, I was there, I was present, I was just focused. So um like I said, I think that round would have gone to me. That watching it over, I wish we had
Okay.
the full
I do
video,
too, man. I
full
really
three
do.
angles, but because maybe there's something we're not seeing. But
Yeah, so that was round one, people. Let's go. It goes straight into round two. So here's Cesar winding up. He's about to throw a slap, and let's just see how our guy takes it. Bro, that was a good one. You can't deny that.
That's where I really rocked him. Like I thought, I mean, big ups to Steve. He stayed up. That was a perfect one. I got him on that one. So that's the one he got me. I felt he got me a little high in the ear. Like if you look at my ear, it's bruised in there. Like that's where all my marks are pretty much up here. So I mean, but they didn't call it. They ref told me I dipped into it. Watching the video back, I don't see myself move much at all.
Yeah, let's I wish there was a speed control on this. Yeah, so no, you're right. You even so everyone who's watching, you can even see he grabs his ear a little bit after the strike.
Yeah, he whacked me in the ear pretty good. So that was straight back of the head ear. That's where I felt it. You know, I was thinking maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just felt it that way. But like watching the video back, I mean, and where my bruises are, I can see that he definitely
the bruises afterwards, dude. All right, here's your turn.
So then on the third one, that's where they called the club on me.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that. Do you feel that was validated? Because he hit you a little high, and then you hit him about the same spot. I mean, at least for me looking at it.
And the difference between him and I is if you rewind back a little bit, if you look where his chin is when he's about to take the shot, like he has his chin all the way dipped in. Hard to tell when you're face to face, and the perception and like the depth perception isn't the same. But like look where he is. Like I mean, that's of course I'm gonna go a little bit high. He has his chin dipped all the way in. So I mean
do you think that's
how I felt about it.
Yeah. I was gonna say, this is a weird question, man, but do you feel like, dude, the beard has so many different facets in this niche of a sport. Do you think the beard helps that to tuck it in so they can't see?
I guess because I mean, like from face to face, I can't tell. Like it looks like he's there. I'm like okay, he's there, but then looking at it from this angle, he's not there. And if you look at the difference between round one, two, and three, like he dips it every more a little bit, because I'm sure you don't want to get rocked again. You don't want to get hit again. So that's kind of like a natural thing. But I mean, that's on the refs. And on the they called it clean on the strike, and then I don't know what they saw in the review. I guess they saw that it went a little bit high, but like they didn't see that he was dipping his chin, so which would have caused the club, right? So I mean, I don't think it was validated for the point to be taken away, especially if you didn't take that from him. But I mean,
yeah. So stop real quick. Rewind back. You're saying that they called it clean, and then after review, they confirmed it was a club.
Correct. So they
okay. I didn't know that. I couldn't hear when I was there.
So Jason Herzog called it fair blow. He says it, and then I'm talking to him, and he's telling me, "Oh, I saw it clean." Like, and then they were reviewing it. But I guess since he made kind of like I don't want to say a show, but like he kind of oh my eye. So I guess that's why they kind of went back and looked at it. So I mean, and that's what they saw. But I don't know why they didn't see that his chin was dipped all the way in. And that's what I see.
Let's look at it.
That's what you see, Joe, but that's what I see.
Dude,
that's the third one.
I'm gonna be. Yeah, let's go back so we can see here. So this is after the clubbing. But dude, to answer your question, I've been saying this after this event, talking with strikers and that. I'm just glad I'm not a ref, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an easy job. It's hard.
It's not an easy job, but there has to be consistency. And I don't know. I mean, shit, man, we could probably talk about reffing in any sport, right? Like if Reggie Miller flops in the 90s and the ref sees a flop, he's going to call it flop, right? But yeah, the consistency, man. It's coming. It's coming. I'm glad I'm not a ref.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's after the point.
Okay, so this is after the point. They're gonna call clubbing 1 point, and let's see what he's got back at it. Dude, he didn't budge on that. How did that one feel?
Honestly, and I'll be transparent with it. That was his cleanest shot of the night. That's the one I felt the most, if anything. But I feel like you could have hit me with a truck that night or that afternoon, and I wasn't gonna go down. I told you they were gonna have to kill me, Joe, and I don't feel he did the job. So.
Well, I will say this. You definitely here. Let me stop sharing my screen and we can chat here. So yeah, I will say this. I mean, you were planted that whole match. There wasn't, from my perspective, didn't see any wobbling going on. Didn't see any unassurity in how you were striking. I would say you came prepared, and sure, it didn't go the way you wanted to, but there's no slight about that match at all.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I feel honestly, Joe, I feel redeemed because that last one was I was out cold. Like it's a pride thing a little bit, because I was like I've never been knocked out or even knocked down in any sparring or any fight or anything like that. I've always been able to take a shot and continue forward. Now in my head, I told myself, well, the circumstances were a little bit weird. I did get hit on the wrong count. I didn't brace for that one at all. I just ate it. I just took it. Did that affect the second? Like you question all these things in your head, but you don't really know until you go up there and take another one. And I took three and I ate them. And like it's not that Steve doesn't hit hard. He does hit hard. Like he whacked me, but I don't feel like there was anybody. Could have been Dumpling, and I don't think it was not that day. Not that day was I getting knocked down. Not at all. Not that day. I was ready to prove that because I know that about myself, and but the world now knows that I can stand there and I can take them. And
Yeah, no, it's I've heard a couple of different fighters, there's slap is weird, right? If they find the button, it's over. I don't care if you're fucking the Hulk, right? If Thor finds the button on Hulk, Hulk's going down. But I love what you said. It was just like not that day. Not that day. You were standing up, you were doing it, and man, you showed it. You proved it.
yeah. So like I said, I feel redeemed because of that. It's still a little sour. I'm not a sore loser, Joe. Like I'm not. I
And
I
I don't
lose.
get that vibe at
I
all.
lose. It happens. It happens. I've lost millions of times, millions of games, millions of matches, millions of everything. But it's a little bit sour because I don't, and just from what everybody's telling me, they don't think I lost, and then I don't think I lost. So it's kind of sour. Yeah, I don't know what's next for me, honestly. This is a newer sport where they're bringing new people in. Am I gonna have to wait 2 years? Guys that guys on this same card who had to wait a couple years just to get another callback, and these are veterans. I'm up there in age, Joe. I'm not, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. So I don't know what's next. So hopefully, whatever it is decided quickly. But I'd definitely be down for one more time with Steve. Yeah, because
Yeah, that's cool, man. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you, man? I forgot.
I'm 35. So I mean,
35.
I'm
Shit,
right
you're
on.
fine. I got 11 big ones on you, dude. You're good. You'll be all right.
All right, but you get to a certain age where you see it all the time in combat sports where like you're just not the same anymore. I don't know when that's gonna be. I still feel good. I still feel young. I went up there and I ate those three, but I don't know. In 2 years, am I gonna feel the same? Am I gonna? And I'm just saying 2 years because some of these guys got the call 2 years late, like KO Chris, Debo. Their last match was 2023, and I get it. The sport's moving, it's changing.
Crazy.
The way we get more, maybe when we get more cards, a lot of us will get more in the rotation, and I hope I get that call, but I don't know. But it's kind of up in the air. I'll stay ready. Like I went, worked out today, worked out yesterday. I just and when I'm in the gym, I kind of like want to maintain this weight and maintain like so. Hopefully, it's I get another opportunity because at least it was entertaining. I'll say that.
No, absolutely. And so I was going to ask you about your weight, but you do feel like this is your home as far as weight class is concerned.
Yeah. I can't. I don't.
Okay.
I haven't weighed 185 since high school, so that's the only other way I can go. If there was maybe like a 195, I can make, but 185, like I 205. I walk around. I checked this morning. I was 210.
Well, so that's your wheelhouse.
That's that. Yeah. So like I don't think this is the type of sport where you want to dehydrate yourself and have to replenish everything in that same day and just try to get back because we're letting them take a free shot at us, and the brain is you need that hydration in there to protect that brain. So
Sure.
definitely, if I'm going to return, it'll be at 205.
Okay, dude. Hey, Cesar, man, thank you so much for coming on. Like, I know we just kind of DM the other day, we made it happen, but
Yeah.
the last one we had, as far as the reaction goes, I don't know if you saw it. We just did a live, and it was so much fun, but it was a lot. You know what I mean? So I'm glad we could just do this one-on-one and walk through it. People, they're just barely getting to know you, man. And like you said, you're a little bit older than some of the strikers, so I agree with you. Now could be your time, and you could really, really make some moves.
Yeah. So yeah, let's see what the future holds, man. One day at a time. I'll stay ready. That's pretty much all I can do. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Just waiting, just waiting. Let's see what happens.
All right, brother. Well, let's let this thing upload. But before we do, where can everyone find you on social media and follow your journey?
So you guys can find me at the Cesar G underscore on Instagram. So that's where I
Okay,
post
very
everything.
good.
That's where all my info is at. So
All right, awesome. Hey, Cesar, let's let this bitch upload, and thank you very much, man. Appreciate it.
that was good, bro. Thank you so much for your time, Joe.
I needed that.
I know, right? Okay, Marisol, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, everybody. Welcome to Slap Son. We got the queen in the building. She went slap for slap over the weekend. Power slap 12. She's coming for all of it. She wants it all. Her presence is there. Her energy's there. We just sipped caffeine. We're ready. We got our hair done. We're ready to go. Everybody give it up for Marisol Roulet. How are you?
Good. I'm still waking up, but I'm good.
Good, good. Did you get in some training today or what?
No, I work in the morning, so I'm actually getting ready to go to training later.
Oh, very cool. If you don't mind me asking, what do you do for work?
I'm a medical technician for a county jail.
Well, you know what? I saw your story the other day and I laughed. You're like, am I going to get called this today or that today? And I was wondering what that was all about. That was so funny.
Yeah, you never know if they're mad at you or not. So it's like, I'm either like, oh my God, like, thank you, ma'am, and you're the best, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Or it's like, you fucking bitch. You think you better than me, bitch? I'm like, okay, sorry.
You need to look it back in the face and go, you don't know who you're dealing with, bitch. Like, I can take you out.
Yeah, I think all the officers die inside because she looks little, but she's not.
No. As popular as MMA has become over the last 15 years, I think it's safe to say I wouldn't mess with anybody until you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. That's great.
You see the ears and you're like, oh, not
Yeah.
that one.
The ears are definitely a telltale for sure. Well, hey, I Googled your match on Google. I looked for it on YouTube, looked for it on TikTok, looked for it on Rumble, and you know what? You actually have the best footage of it. So on your page, it kind of shows every slap. And so what I want to do is just on the reels on Instagram, they kind of just repeat over and over. I can't pause them. So we'll just pull it up. And then before I hit play, let's just talk through that dude, just that whole experience, the weekend, and then we'll click play on your match, and we'll just get your thoughts through it, if that's all right. Okay, let's do it. Let's pull up this bad boy. So let's go share. Let's hit up. Let's see. Actually, let me get to your page first. There we go. All right, now we share. We're coming, audience. Okay. Boom. Okay. Can you see that okay?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So before we click on that upper right-hand corner,
Yes.
What was the weekend like? From what I understand, you got the call pretty, not like crazy short notice, not like the day of or anything, but it was, not months notice either. So how did that all break down? And then getting there, what was going through your mind and everything? For Power Slap, yeah.
Year. And
Whoa, are you serious?
October, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it was that long. So you're chomping at the bit.
Yeah. I mean, the opponent wasn't like last year. I actually got 3 offers, and then Maho was actually the only one to take it. But I had signed with Power Slap last year, and then I was supposed to fight in the December card, the one where the Hawaiian.
Yeah, absolutely, in Dumpling.
Yeah. And then I guess something about they couldn't find me an opponent or something like that. So my manager was like, okay, well, they put you down for March. So be ready for March.
Wow. No one wanted to face you in December, huh? They weren't
I
scared.
guess not. They were like, let's not risk the face for the holidays.
Whoa, I didn't know you've been waiting that long in the wings.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to have my second one by now.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, so have you been to an event before, a live event, or is this your first live event actually competing?
Yeah, this was my very first live event competing and getting to see stuff more like live.
Well, that's so much fun. I tell everybody, it's a weird niche that we all love, this slap game. But I tell everybody, you got to go see it live. It's the best.
Yeah, it's oh my God. Like after seeing stuff like I mean, obviously I did a lot of research and a lot of video footage, but being there, like I was like, oh my God, like I don't know. Do I really want to do
What am I getting myself into?
that? Yeah. Yeah, I was like, oh, here we go.
How do you train for slap? You specifically. I've heard all kinds of stuff from different strikers, but like, are you more of a visualized person, or are you more, let's a physical person and slapping the bob and things like that?
Did a lot of over and over and over repetitiveness. We worked on I actually had a lot of teammates help me and let me slap them once or twice. Obviously, like it looks like I hit them 100%, but like I was still learning. My form was terrible. But we did a lot of the paddle, a lot of like bag slaps. We did a lot of
I haven't heard the bag slap before. Okay.
yeah, yeah, because it doesn't move, so you can really
Ugh.
work on your aiming, and it feels kind of like a face because the resistance is there. Um, but yeah, we did that. We did a lot of boxing workouts, a lot of Muay Thai neck exercises. And then my boxing coach, actually, he had me do a lot of like knockout, kind of like if I got knocked down to get my balance back. So we did a lot of like drunk guy exercises.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah, yeah, they got really creative with it. So I felt very well prepared.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, it sounds like they did. I mean, um, especially with the slap game being, I know the slap game has been around for a while, but as far as like power slap is concerned and getting like this broad, massive audience, that has only been around, 18 months, 2 years. So any advantage you can think of, like I'd never heard of the bag and then, the drunk thing. I've heard of guys taking a baseball bat and like putting their head down and spinning to kind of get that drunk effect. So the more advantages you take and more creative you get, I think is beneficiary.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean you can listen to as much power slap fighters. I actually was listening to a podcast with the Puerto Rican pretty boy, the one he just competed.
Yeah, 100%
He said
Isaiah.
something, yeah, Isaiah just said something about like baseball workouts. And we incorporated some of those too, and those seem to help a lot with the swinging of the arm.
Right. Same kind of motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, very cool. Well, hey, let's click on this guy. And again, it's just gonna loop, but just kind of talk through what's going on here and how you feel and just anything that comes to mind.
Safe to say I'm the beat.
So that looks
I actually am upset that they didn't show her first slap because she slapped first.
that's right.
Yeah, I don't know why they put mine first. I want to say because mine looked cooler.
Hey man, we're in the eyeball business. That might have been the case.
Yeah. So the very first slap when she hit me, I was like, "That's it? Like really?" But then I heard that she clubbed for that one, and I was like, "Okay, just hit her clean, hit her good," and I won. And that first slap when I felt that it went through. I felt that it was a really good slap, and I heard the crowd, the little crowd that was there for prelims.
Yeah. The 6 rows.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I won that one. I know I won that one. I was like, damn, I didn't even wobble her, but I was like, you know what? It's fine. I knew she's not easy to drop. So yeah, so then I go back to my corner and I think she slapped me. That was her second slap. And then I was like, I think I like smiled at her because I was like, "You're not doing anything to me. Like I'm not. You're not dropping me like you thought you would." And mind you, we were very friendly to each other. We were not like, "I'm gonna knock you down" and blah blah. But yeah, and then was this the second one? I want to say this was
I
the
think.
yeah that was the second one because after that slap, I kind of make
And
a
the last
face.
one's coming up. There we go.
Yeah. So the second one I clubbed, apparently. I didn't feel like I clubbed, but I mean, I wouldn't know. And then I was like, no,
Right.
I'm upset. I was like, fuck. I was so mad at myself for clubbing because I took pride in like even during our training days that my slap was pretty and I knew that it was good. So when I clubbed, I was like, okay. And my mentality was so bad coming into the third one, and I will hold myself accountable because the third one, if you notice the third one, it looked nowhere near the first two, and it was because I was terrified to club because I was like, if I club a second time, let's say I lose because I fall twice. So that third slap, I kind of like, I was like, don't club, don't club, don't club. And I kind of throw it and I like pause as I'm slapping her. And I like paused and I looked at him to make sure that I didn't club. So I focused too much on the foul that I feel like it cost me the match.
Right. So you kind of here, let's stop this real quick. Thanks for being so honest. Yeah. So you're admitting that like that last round, it kind of was like it was more like, hey, don't club. It's and then that kind of got in your mindset to where you don't think you could have hit as hard as you could have or as clean as you could have.
Yeah. I feel like I had like the first slap, that was over and over my plan. Every slap was going to be like that. And because the second time I was like muscle memory, but somehow I clubbed and I wish they showed the whole like match because I wanted to see if I clubbed or hit her with like too high or too low. Um and that kind of that messed me up mentally that I was like, just don't club. Like I went like in my head, I win if I don't club that third one because I felt those first two regardless were good. Forgetting that she clubbed, I clubbed different rounds. So one round was for me, the other round was for her. And then I was like, regardless, I like just don't club the third round. And then Hawaiian was like I think you got it. I think you got it. You'll be fine. But then I just kind of I don't know, like I just freaked out. I don't want to say I freaked out. I just didn't want to lose by fouling. I felt like that was worse than losing. Then so that's my kid. That's my toddler.
Hey, what's their name?
Dior.
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 Yeah.
Hey, buddy. What's up? Hey. Can you say hi? Hey, little man. That's great. So yeah, that's hard. Let's be honest, because look, I'm not up there. I'm not swinging away. You know what I mean? So to be in that moment and just kind of make that decision, that's tough, man, because you definitely don't want to lose on disqualification. That's not how anyone wants to go out. So you accomplish that, but then you also, it's almost like you need to get up there sooner rather than later. Because now that you've done it, you can go back again and fix those things and be stronger.
Yeah, and that like my mentality after that, I was like, I need to go like again. I want to be on the next card as soon as possible because like, and it's so crazy because so many people are like, "Oh my God, congratulations!" And I'm like, I actually lost. But it's like,
That's a humbling moment as a fighter. Oh, I actually.
yeah, but after seeing those first two slaps, I was like, I did that. Like, yeah, I did that. And after taking them so well that I was like, I didn't flinch. And that was another one where I was like, I don't want to flinch. I don't want to foul. I don't want to look like I'm not ready for this. And just watching that, I was like, I'm ready. I know I love this. This is freaking awesome.
Dude, I love that. So obviously you had a great time, like totally well worth the wait. Because you did go round for round, have they given you any type of mandatory suspension, the commission, anything like that? Like, how soon could you be on a card?
I think I can go on whatever card. I didn't get any suspension.
Okay.
I didn't. Yeah, the doctor just made sure that I don't know, felt a headache or something, but I was fine. I had no swelling. Like it was fine.
Yeah, it's I like what they're doing with the sport as far as I'm glad I'm not a ref, first of all. But I'm glad you can see they are trying to make sure that people are like legit slapping, not throwing left and right hooks up there like maniacs,
Yeah.
And I think that helps with all of that, the headache, everything like that. And so that's good. It sounds like you came out, really unscathed.
Yeah, yeah, and we did have they flew us out 3 days earlier to have that camp just to talk about fouling, how to fix that, and that made the biggest difference, I feel like, for a lot of people.
Yeah, and it sounds like they're gonna continue doing that.
Hmm. Yeah, I hope they do because again, because it's such a new sport, there's things that people don't know. Even just watching or learning by watching, it's not the same as having the ref that's refing you tell you what he's looking at and how like that. Every single one of them watched our slap and say, okay, this would have been a good slap or this would have been a foul because, and explain more in depth.
That's great. So I didn't know that. So they actually let you in training camp go a few rounds, and then they will give you feedback as far as clean slap, not clean.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome. See, it's little things like that just help the sport, because I think everyone's aware. At first glance, it's a little ridiculous, right? Just standing across the podium, things like that. But man, once you get into the details of it, it really is a skill set. It really is a sport. Like, it really is this thing that you want to see in MMA. You want to see the knockout. You know what I mean? And slap
Yeah.
just gets right to that point. And so the safer they make it, the more feedback they give you, is just
Mhm.
so good. I'm glad that that's going on. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even for like, and I do want to say that 135 and under division for females, obviously it's a lot harder to see a knockout, but it's like having to have the accuracy. So you're also focusing on like your movement and having really good accuracy and obviously the flinching, but it's not just like I'm gonna knock you out and I'm stronger and I can eat a punch, or a slap, but like just being technical too.
No, 100%. I mean, looking back at some of the tape, and obviously they're correcting in real time, but there are people that they got knocked out because they were clubbed. They got knocked out because they were fouled, and
Mhm.
we want to see clean KOs. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean they are the prettiest. I feel like the clean ones, you're like, oh my god, where did that come from?
I
Like
totally
flinching.
agree.
Oh, Riley's. I think that one was one of the cleanest,
Oh,
craziest. Yeah.
Riley's, KLDE's, Matt. You know what? The card was phenomenal. Honestly, it was so
It was a
good.
really good card. Yeah.
It's so good, and they just keep getting better. Like, I'm thinking about, I've heard Miami's on, I've heard Miami's off because of the commission, but like whenever it is, I can't wait to see what they put together.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like the more they get to go to different states, more people will join, and hopefully the MMA community is more open to it now. And that brings more people with chins and strength and hands. So.
Yes, yes. And clean accuracy, right? I did hear, man, I forgot his name. His nickname's Lionheart in the UFC. Wow, I can't remember. He has he's bald head, wears glasses when he's not fighting, obviously. Nickname's Lionheart. Anyway, he was on Helwani's show and he talked about that. He actually asked to be on it. You know what? If you don't mind, I'm gonna Google this real quick. Because the offset chance that he like watches us talking about him and we don't say his name, this could be bad. Who is that guy, man?
It's okay.
Lionheart
Get another one.
MMA. Anthony Smith. There we go.
Anthony Smith.
Anthony Smith. So just to validate what you were saying, there's literally top brass MMA fighters saying, "Hey, I'll give this a shot," and he claims they shot him down, which is kind of ridiculous. I wonder why that is.
Maybe because of opponents. because it's nice to have somebody like Paige Van Zandt and like all the big UFC fighters. And as females, we have egos, so we're gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna fight the top MMA females, whatever. But for guys, it's kind of like, okay, we have this guy that's a UFC fighter or an MMA big name, but like the opponents are already really hard to get for some like.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
if John Jones is all in on Slap, who's gonna fight him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then they would have to pay somebody that has almost no experience a lot more because they're fighting somebody that's with a name like that. So
yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine being at Power Slap 14 and like Daniel Cormier comes out of retirement to be in the heavyweight division or something?
Oh no. It would be cool, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. Well, hey, there's rumblings of a female belt coming together sometime soon. What are your thoughts on that?
Love to say. I heard the interviewer asking Paige if she would like it to be pink, and I think
that was Diana at Petty Corner. I heard that question. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. Like, because he's right. Like, you have to give females something to chase. It's like, yeah, we're here and we like the sport and the money and the experience and everything, but it's like being called the champ, and we don't have rankings yet, and we don't like. I heard these are rumors that they might come out with a show or like the Power Slap show.
Oh yeah, that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, because I mean that's how you grow a Okay. Shouldn't have done this with a toddler.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I know all about that. You're good.
Yeah, he like knows too. He's like, oh, she's busy. I'm gonna bother her. But that's how you grow like a division. I feel like that's how the female strawweight division grew. In the UFC is just having a show, and then more people are like, oh my god, and then they see that we're actually people and females that aren't like these crazy like.
Yeah, you're a human. You're just a person.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. I agree. Oh, I'm excited for it. I really am, because we're watching this thing grow, particularly the women's divisions. We're in real time. We're watching this become something, and it's super cool that you're a part of it. It's super exciting that you're in it for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on, Marisol. It means so much. Yeah. Like, it means the world. And I have a feeling we're going to be talking again soon, based on your excitement and the cards coming up, things like that. Where can everyone follow your journey on social media? Where can they find you?
I mean, I'm just on really Instagram, and it's my name, Marisol _RUE_. I haven't a TikTok, but it's just because I want to watch other TikToks. But it's the same thing.
That's the best honesty we've ever had. That was awesome. Well, very good, very good. Well, hey, everyone follow her. Watch this journey. She's been patient. She finally got a match, and I have a feeling we're going to see her again real soon. So thank you so much for coming on. Let's let this thing upload, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
As you should.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready.
All right, Hunter, you ready? All right, everybody. Welcome to Slap Son. We got the man in the building. All gas, no brakes, like Posy says. This weekend was crazy, son. Are you kidding me? Slap for slap for slap. This man did it all. Early prelims, we don't care. We found it. We're going to watch it. We're going to get his reaction. Can't wait to do it. Everybody, give it for Hunter.
What's going on, brother? Good to see you again.
Good to see you. We finally met in the flesh, in person. This is past
such
weekend.
A pleasure meeting you and everyone else. Really, it was so much fun.
Dude, I had such a good time. I put it out on Instagram. I talk to all of you, right? And then when I see you in person, I don't know what it is, but my natural reaction is just to put my arms up and go,
I know, it's crazy. It's like I've seen behind the screen only.
Yeah, exactly, man. Well, hey, we're gonna get into it, watch your bout. But any other thoughts or surprises before you took that walk that you weren't expecting through the process of the whole
I wouldn't even
fight?
say surprise per se, But definitely going into this, I knew Angel had a chin. I knew watching back when he went against Alex and rotated title season 3, he had a chin. Me and him both knew that it would probably go down to a war. We were both pretty certain that we'd get it done in one. Neither of us did because we both have pretty solid chins. And we went to war, and it went to our decision.
Yeah. And
The
Hunter, what
decision
was
I believe 2-0 to me.
Yeah. I think so. Congratulations
you
are
so
in
much.
order. Absolutely. I want to. So for the people watching and listening, we found the match, but it's just the slap. It's just the striking. So I can hit pause as best as I can, but just so we're aware, the first time I'm going to hit pause is when I was watching. I never had seen this before, but we had some guest passes. So we watched the prelims. So your match, Steve's match, all the guys, right? And the ref yells, "Stop." So let's get to that point and get Hunter's take on it, because he was there and stuff. And I had never seen or heard that. So let's pull it up and then let's hit share. And all right, so I'm going to drag this back.
Right
now,
there. So
Mark
Mark says stop. So if you notice in the tiny clip right before impact happens, you see a tiny bit of a flinch or at least a curl towards my hip. So what the ref are,
towards your hip. Okay, let's do it again. From
Angel,
you or
you'll
from
see
Angel?
his chin dip in towards my hip before we go. So that tiny bit.
Oh, dude, that's detailed as fuck. Hold on.
That tiny bit. So what the refs are trying to do nowadays is stop the fouls from happening preemptively, and unfortunately, in our case, it was stopped a little bit too late. But that was what the case was, trying to keep fouls to a bare minimum. If we're able to stop them before the strike, then let's get that done.
Okay, so I heard him yell stop when I was in the crowd, but I couldn't hear the banter back and forth. So what were they telling? Like, what do they do when they try and stop it? And I mean, if they do stop it, we know what happens. You probably get to reset things like that. But what happens?
So the strike did go through, and the foul was also in play. So it is up. I wouldn't say it's ref discretion, but if they're not able to stop it on time, it's still going to play through, like we have seen in the past. So
I see. So they're just trying to. It's okay if it goes through because that's the game, but they're just trying to not have
try to keep it as flawless as possible.
Okay. All right. Let's continue, people.
And he just walks away like nothing happened. Yeah,
like
and you
said,
see me there stumbling a little bit.
Hold on, can I just point something out real quick? How this is like, hold on, let me pause it. It's getting there. Okay. Or did I already miss it? Oh, there it was. What? That is the picture of pictures, my guy. You gotta screenshot that shit and have Crazy sign it.
I hope if I get photos released to me, I hope that's one of them, because that is such a stellar photo.
Oh my God, it's iconic, bro. That's you look like a Western / you know what I mean, action figure. In Lane's you're like bodyguard that takes care of business. When no one's looking.
Gets the job done. Yeah.
Okay, all right, let's keep going. I had to pause. I mean, look at that, people. Look at that handsome fucker. Okay, let's do this. All right, so we're watching the screen. Here we go again. Now you lean forward a little bit. Did you feel anything? So
I've noticed, at least on impact, I felt fine throughout the entire fight. I was very, very impressed with myself on how I was able to take all the hits. Maybe I do look a little bit shooken up on some of them. Probably when I'm holding my breath a little bit too long. Like I said, there's a lot of things I'd like to work on now going forward from what I have. And just to implement my game even better is just working on my defense more and definitely my striking.
What happened there?
So you see me go like, oh, because I'm like, come on, he flinched to it, and I did hurt my hand a tad bit, nothing crazy.
Right here.
Yeah, I felt a little bit of shock in my hand,
nothing crazy,
like a little bruising. That was it. Yeah.
Okay. And you guys just go around for.
I'm like, it's over.
It happened, dude. That's a pretty good question, actually. Does it go super
I didn't even
fast? when
realize
you're
we
up
were
there?
done until I was like, I hit him what 5 times. I was like honestly internally like, holy crap! Like I gotta let him get a swing. Like that fourth one for his second foul, I was like, that was a clean slap. I mean, he should be allowed to hit me now. But it went in my favor for me to strike again.
Yeah. So you guys did go round for round, right? What did, if anything, did the powers that be or the commission tell you got to take some time
No, I'm
off or no?
perfectly clear, ready to go for the next one.
Okay.
Mandatory, as usual,
You know
for
what?
anyone who competes.
Dude, I love it. So I have to show you. I'm sure you saw it on Instagram, but let's show the people. I took the best photo of Hunter and Angel, dude. If you guys think there isn't camaraderie in the sport, this photo will prove you wrong.
He's such a freaking
so
gentleman. So much fun going to war with that dude.
It's funny. He's got such a mouth on him. And then in person, he's just the coolest, calmest, like so respectful.
A gentleman
you know
of class act. Seriously, I was so stoked when I was a little nervous at first in the fact oh man, what's he gonna say to me going into this? I'm like,
yeah,
wait, what, but no, it was nothing but just pure energy. We're both here for the same reason, so one of us has to get the job done.
Yeah, 100%, dude. 100%. Where'd that thing go? It's worth the wait because the photo's so
I think
good.
I know which one you're talking.
Let me go back. Yeah, dude, you guys are smiling with your cheeks out. Not those cheeks, people. Not those cheeks. Okay, here we go. I'm going to grab. There we go. I got it. So I'm going to hold this up to the camera, fam. I don't know if you'll see this on YouTube, but this photo.
Holy crap.
Just look how happy these guys are, man.
Started off the night strong. We had so much fun.
Good, good. And for the after party as well.
Yeah, I was there for a little bit. And, I'm a homebody for a reason. Kind of guy. I've had to get out of it.
Yeah. I was telling a couple people at the Slap News event and then also the after party. I really I'm a social guy, obviously, right? But I get in certain situations and I don't know how to act, dude. At the after party, the Slap News party, I do my best, but then we went out to dinner with Isaiah and Pono and, and my boys and wifey Allie was there. And dude, I was quiet as fuck. I don't know what to do with those situations.
I understand you wholeheartedly. Just listen, maybe chime in.
Yeah, dude. So that was fun. But brother, thank you so much for coming on. You're always so open to be the guest and say what's on your mind, things like that, and be able to follow your journey. It's just been epic.
It's a ton, man. You've been there since day one too. I mean, you rode to the title, man. I mean, now let's see what happens going on in the future of 2025. A bunch of new places gain sanction too, especially now New Jersey gains sanction. That's what's up. That's huge.
That's huge.
Nice drop.
Yeah, that's what's up. It's funny in Utah. I was talking with Cyrus Fees. He's the bare knuckle boxing announcer, and he was saying that where Slap has gotten some sanction, they're sanctioned to do it, in Nevada, for example, they can't get bare knuckle sanctioned. It's just weird. I would love to be a fly on the wall when they talk about what they're going to approve.
Yeah, it's got to be some interesting conversations to lead what does and what doesn't.
Yeah, dude, 100%. Anyway, man. As always, where can they find you on social media? They can follow your journey because I got a feeling you might be on a card sooner than later.
Who knows? Who knows? I'm always ready to go. So, but yeah, you can find me. I'm mainly on Instagram at Hunter Hassanin with 2 T's, and I usually message back, follow back, and you can find me there.
Okay, all right, man. I'll set this bitch upload. 1 sec.
So much fun.
We can't have a sad podcast, All right, dude, you ready?
All day.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Slap Son. We got the man in the building. It's not even going to be close. This is going to be the best one of the day. Over the weekend, he went round for round for round. The man's got a chin of steel. He's got proof. Look at his eyes. You see anything? No, you don't, because there's no bruising. There's no bumps. He's got a face for a slap from the man himself. Coined it just now. Everybody give it up for the Hawaiian assassin.
We in the building.
We in the building. Pono. First of all, dude, t-shirts look sick. Thank you for hooking up my boys.
No problem.
They've literally already worn it, I don't know, 3 times. They won't let me wash it, so it's a big deal. I appreciate it. So last time, after the last card, we got together and had like a reaction, pod or whatever, and it was a lot of fun. But like, it was a lot of personality in the building. So we're gonna go 1 for 1 and walk through your match, dude. Just break it down, and honestly, just we're gonna let the sucker play, and then let's have a conversation. But I just want to hear what you were feeling, what you were thinking, because it was a war. There was no one and done in this match. This was round for round for round. So I'll just cue it up, man, and we'll just talk through it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let me share my screen. Hopefully we're on silent. We don't need any more noise. Okay, can you see that okay?
Yep. I can see clear.
All right, awesome. So the walkout's already happening. We're about to take care of business here.
Yes, sir.
Big old smile from Dorian, that guy, that animal.
He put out the 6-shooter, and I felt like it was the right timing for the whole Matrix pull out. So I caught some of the bullets, then dodged some of the rest of them. So
I like the analogy. Fun. Man, I really didn't expect this to go the full 3 rounds.
Yeah, me either. I really, I thought it was gonna go into somebody was gonna get knocked out. He has a lot of power. I have a lot of power, and we just got to kind of figure it out. So from this point right here, just to kind of start and to set up, I'm locked in and I'm good. My bracing is on point right now at this moment. He's already about to just start swinging and whacking, gets his count up, and then immediately the ref comes out and he kind of stops it. So I don't know what they saw at that moment. Just standing there, and this part right here threw me off. So as soon as he calls for that reset, I'm like, okay, well, now I got to just go back into the exact same stance that I was doing before. And it's a little bit different now. So because of the reset, it did something to my brain where I wasn't thinking properly. And if you look now at my feet, I'm not all the way butted up like how I was originally. So now Dorian's about to swing, and as soon as he hits me on that third hit, you're going to see that my left leg was the one that kind of kicks back. It's because it's not all the way butted up. See, first step was on my left foot.
Oh, I see.
So I wasn't in the same.
That back real quick. Left
yeah,
foot.
Go ahead. You'll see on my left side right there, that left foot is the first one that stumbles back. It's because it's not all the way up, and he's hitting from the right side. And typically I like to be all the way up against close to where the podium is at that moment. So because of that, it caused the stumble.
Shit, dude.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it caused the stumble. Comes out there. This one is a clean hit, right? He's in the target area. He's right on top of that, partial on the jawline, partial in the hair. So it makes sense, right? He hits me solid with that one. I don't see anything different from that. He didn't club. He didn't do anything crazy. But that stumble right there where I take a step with my left foot back caused the point system to kick in, where they obviously rewarded him with that first hit and that first round. So he wins that first round just by me stumbling.
Right. And you can really see what you're talking about with your foot when they did that above camera shot.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm trying to catch myself. I'm trying to catch myself from falling all the way completely back. But, out of all the other fights, you've noticed with me that a lot of the times when I do stumble back like that, like James Seekman, people have to kind of catch me to push me back up. This one I catch myself. So it's just proof that my defense has gotten a lot better. Just practicing, and obviously it comes out to where repetition wins. I've learned how to defend myself better. So I get up with this, kind of feeling the strike itself. This is a big one because right here, so that right there, Dorian is very, I would say that's his common move, that he takes a gasp of air, and training with Ryan Phillips and all those other guys that really puff up their cheeks. That's something that they typically do in their match. So you're going to see Dorian puff up his cheeks. But as he puff up his cheeks, he leans forward. You see that part where he kind of tucks his head down a little bit?
Sure,
and that would
be
that would be considered a flinch. I got called for a flinch on Cooper Housley, and I barely even moved, and that should be something where they look at it. So from the top angle, you see him tilt a little bit towards the side as I'm continuing through, but this is where you see it right here. Boom. He leans his head down and in an angle. So he's basically forcing it forward. Go ahead.
I just want to point out to the audience who might be watching, look at Pono cup his fucking hand right before. That's scary as shit, man.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah,
this.
on the drawback?
Yeah. So you line it up. It's better on the slow-mo, but you line it up, and then when you swing back, it's like your hand grows 2 sizes. I swear.
It's raining. Let me move out of the rain. Bam, yep.
For everyone that might be watching this, don't mind my eyes. I'm watching the replay along with him, so I'm not looking at the camera, fam.
So Dorian, calls for, obviously he calls for that, the club, right? He points down towards his neck. But what Dorian, doesn't realize at this moment is because of the way he braces and that gas of air and that lean down like this, that's what caused it to hit him on his neck. Or even if it did go towards his neck, that's why he's calling for that club, is because of him leaning forward on me. So that should have been called a flinch, and I should have been able to, swing on him one more time. But it is what it is. The officials kind of just move on through that, and they go on to the next. And later on down the line, we figure out why. But at this moment, it is what it is. Got to go back out there again.
Dorian playing to the camera like he does. So how's your setting on this one? Do you feel like you got where you need to be? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not going to reset me. They're not going to move me around. This is solid. So watch. You'll see how I eat this one. Boom, and nothing. So on his first one, even the little bop on the head, right? So it's a little bit of the antics. I really don't like stand in front of people and just like really yell at people or do anything else crazy. That one time that I said, the B word to Cooper, but
to Cooper, yeah.
Yeah, but if you look at where he contacted me on this one, it's very high up on the mandible, so on the back part of the jaw, right here on this line. That would, also be considered a club. They just, it's just really you don't see it properly. And if you look at it very clear, his hand's all the way back here. It's kind of around here. This is the target area all the way down. So this is the top of the target area. This is the actual target area itself. And he hits me back here with that one.
He's got an interesting approach. He like tucks that elbow in when he's about to go. Watch.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's gonna tuck it. Yeah, he switches it up, dude.
Yeah, and he switches up his timing and tempo too, to where he draws it right here, right in front of his face, and then it explodes from here. So not to give away too much, so that way he starts to get better at what he does. But there's some key things. But that's a club. He leads with his palm. He hits me with that palm, the back part of the heel is what we call it, the heel of the palm. Smacks you right on the backside. So they should have called this one too as a foul, clubbing. But I eat it, That was the best one right there. Is just okay. Well, we got to go out there, got to stand in front of him, got to take that shot.
Yeah, dude. And you ate it. You didn't move.
Yep. Yeah, that's I really wanted to showcase that from Cooper's, from the flinch and everything else. Is like, you never want to be considered a flincher, at any point in time. And it takes a lot of training to not flinch like that, a lot of fast movement in front of your eyes. But a lot of my stuff, I just kind of look down. I don't really look at the target. I don't look at what's coming. I just look down and I just let him hit me, whatever it is.
What does Ron tell you in between? Is it anything?
Yeah. So he's speaking. He's talking about the position of how he was before, how I should be able to extend on the next one, get a little bit more out. So he's very thorough on coaching. And if he sees something that he needs to talk about, he will. If he doesn't, and he doesn't really need to speak on it, then he'll leave it alone, because he doesn't want to confuse you up there on the stage where thinking about 10 different things all at one time.
Right.
So my windup is good on this one. But here's the best thing about Dorian. Is that Dorian is an on-site type of person. So from that first hit, and he knew that he could eat that, he changes up his motion and his movement immediately. This one, he does really good. He didn't lean forward like how he did the last time. He just gasped the air in, and he holds. It holds there. He doesn't go and this way. So he
These
stays.
strikers are savages, man. Just take a deep breath and let it ride.
Yeah. So he stays in position. And it's a good technique to use, as you're gasping in air like that. It opens up the cheek, allows it to have a little bit more space, so that way it's not directly on the teeth, directly on the chin, kind of blows it up. So think about it like if I went like this with my hand and allow you to whack my hand here, there's this angle right here in my hand that kind of saves me. Same thing with the cheek. I blow up my cheek, it saves me a little bit. When I hit the cheek, it blows the cheek back into the teeth, and then he just disperses air, poof, and just pushes it all out, so that way it stays tight. So it's a good technique. Ryan Phillips is really famous for that stuff, and he's passed.
I need to go
he's
back
passed
and
it on
find
to Dorian.
some Phillips stuff. See, this is the shit people need to hear. No one would ever know that till you break it down like this. This is like detail, like how Kobe used to do detail and Daniel Cormier used to do detail on ESPN.
Yeah, for sure.
We need this for slap because people need to that's a technique, man, that no one's thinking about or notices, I should say.
So stop the video right here, Joe.
I got
stop
you.
The video right here. Okay, so let's talk about this. All that movement that Dorian did with his shoulder. So from his first whack, and this is kind of just me being who I am, mad scientist, from his first whack, I already knew that something happened with his shoulder. Either he didn't follow all the way through, just in the way that he shifted his arm. I'm a big studier on body mechanics, so I'm looking at the way he kind of like shifts a little bit with his shoulder, and he's like, oh, he's in pain here. It's because when he whacked me that first one, something in his mechanics here in the shoulder stopped it from going all the way through completely. Even though he hit me hard, it doesn't all the way completely go through. So something's shut in here, locked, whether it's in the front delt, whether it's in the rear, somewhere here caused pain. And as you see it, he's trying to rotate it out. He's trying to shift it off. And, later on down the line, when you watch his post interview, he talks about how he wasn't delivering at a full 100%. And the 100% wasn't because of choice. It's not like he was choosing to not deliver 100%. Who would ever want to do that? But more of because of the injury in the shoulder, he's adjusting to what it is. So now he's not throwing at 70%. 100%. He's throwing at 60% or 70%, depending on how he's going to strike me the next one too. So that shake and movement of the shoulder and everything else, he's trying to loosen that thing up because something happened in that moment. And the first hit that he gave me was probably his strongest hit. His second hit wasn't as strong. And the third hit was not that it wasn't strong, but it was in my eye. So it's in a softer area of the face, not on the jawline, not in the target area. He hits me kind of up here in this position here. And you'll notice after this hit right here, once we watch this and we click it, because this is one big one, even though I won this round, it was never called. No officials called anything. And it's kind of crazy, It's like whether it be where there's fouls on me, whether it be fouls on him, this was just too clean of a match, right? In the officials' eyes. But we can obviously, by watching the video back and kind of breaking everything down, you can see where at this moment where there was a lot of fouls and they just weren't calling any of these things. Maybe possibly they just wanted a better show, and there's a lot of views going on. I think, Frank said it the best, is like there's something like over 1 billion eyes on there, right? Because of the views and the influencers in the room. So
yeah, I saw that clip. There was like, at the after party, he was saying in that room was over 1 billion views. It's like, whoa.
Over 1 billion views.
People don't understand it yet, Pono. They don't get it yet.
Yeah. So that's a big part, right? That's a big part of how this, Power Slap evolves, and the more events they have and the better showings they have, it's, a lot of it's by views. It's going to be by the influencers in the room and who is there. Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate, these guys just came off of all their things that they did with the court stuff and everything else. Is like, who is not going to watch these people if they start to post and they start to bring up things? So I think because of the influence in the room, a lot of these calls, and I'm not just talking about my fight, take away my battle, take away everything else, and really just look at it as an overall picture. A lot of the fights that went out on Power Slap 12 had issues with clubbing, with in the eye type stuff, and just really bad calls. There's a part where strikers' safety becomes more important than the billions of views and the influence that you have in the room. And that's a big thing for me.
No, it's a huge thing, but I think the powers that be, they're at least putting out the vibe that they want. I mean, why wouldn't they? But they're putting out the vibe, and not only the vibe of they want to see it cleaner because it's a slap game. It's not a clubbing game. Like, you don't want to left hook and right hook somebody. But they're putting together, that you were a part of, putting together these training camps, and the refs are coming in and saying, okay, that would have been a foul, that would have been a club. I think that's super important.
Yeah, because it's going to start cleaning up everything. It's going to be good because the shows are going to get a lot better,
Yes,
and as much as you can clean up on strikers, the better, because then they start hitting in the proper areas. They don't pivot, they don't move like that. So yeah, that's good and that's great. But one thing's for sure is that we're at Power Slap 12. We're at 3 seasons already, going on 4. I think by now officials should kind of know how to call a club.
Yeah,
should kind of know how to call a step, a pivot. It's not rocket science. You just need the right eyes on there. Like, if Mark Smith did every single match, look at the matches that Mark Smith called. And not to down anybody else on the official side. Jason Herzog
on here, man. That's what we need to do.
But Mark, because he's literally the prime official, he needs to be there on every single whack, every single movement. He needs to be watching every single time, because if you watch the fight between Hunter and Angel, Mark tries to stop before Angel flinches. Not a lot of officials are going to do that. They're going to allow Angel to flinch, and then they're going to call the flinching after the fact that it happened. But he starts to try to stop things before it happens. And Chris Taioni did a really good job, like, even with the reset from whatever he saw. That was an awesome move for him. It's just whatever he saw, he thought that it wasn't proper, so he did a reset. And I love that they're evolving by continuously going out there and thinking about the safety of the striker. What's going on out there? Is that going to be a proper position for him to stand in to take this hit, or do I have to readjust him? Is that a good proper way for the guy to be striking, or should I readjust him? And it's good that they think like that. It's going to start opening up those doors, but better sooner than later. That's the biggest one.
Yeah.
Better sooner than later.
Sooner than later. We the sport consistency within the sport needs to grow as fast as the entire sport.
For sure, yeah, because then we don't want tail drags. We don't want strikers to be really, really good at what they do, but then the officials not really good at what they do. It's their job to go out there and call these flinches, these clubs, not for anything else. Like, oh, it's not going to be a good show. That who cares if it's going to be a good show or not at the end of the day? And it's like, that's something that, working from the power slap side, from the views side, you're an official. Your main job is the safety of the striker. The rules. That's your main job. Nothing else. Your main job is the striker and is the rules, and to follow the rules and make sure the striker is doing exactly what he's doing. So that's going to be the key, is that as it progresses, hopefully within the next couple of events, that they start seeing it. It's been cleaned up since Power Slap 10, Power Slap 11, but to be really honest, I just feel like things aren't being called a lot more. They want the show to just kind of ride through, and the matches to go through, and they want the best show possible. And I can literally sit here and say that I know that for a fact, just by somebody telling me that that's what it is. It's that they just want to
track on that.
I got the inside track on everything, my man. Whether people like it or not, you know what I mean? It's like somebody's always going to open their mouth, and somebody's always going to say what's going on out there and how it is, and it's like I'm just an ear open to hearing anything, and especially when it involves me and how the match goes and the way that it plays out, you know what I mean? It's like somebody's going to tell me, hey, you know what? The only reason why they didn't call those things is because they want to see a better show. They wanted to see this go all 3 rounds. You know, and if it was 5 rounds, they want to see it all go all 5 rounds. They just want a better show. They want more views, more people cheering, more all this stuff. And it's like at the end of the day, you know, as much as I like the views and as much as I love that, I like safety. Safety is better first, because the fact of the matter is that, you know, Joe, what would have happened? What would have happened not having all those calls, and say one of us loses our eye? I got whacked on that last one. I lose my eye. I can't see anymore.
Yeah, man. No, that's
Bad
I don't know
fouls,
how-
you know.
Yeah, I don't even know how to answer I don't know how to answer that except to say, yeah, that's real. I mean, nobody wants that. Like nobody wants that.
Yeah, that's true.
The sport in and of itself is already intense, shall we say. We don't need to like take it to another level. You know, the sport is about what you want to see in UFC, what you want to see in MMA. Like you want to see the knockout, right? As a fan. But as a fan, also you want to see that knockout clean. Nobody wants to see, you know, a Frank Mir situation where the arm breaks. They want to see a Frank Mir situation where he gets submitted. Oh, it was a clean submission and he taps out. You know what I mean? No one wants to see someone, like you said, to get their tail dragged off the stage and slapped like that. Nobody wants that.
And to be honest, you know, Joe, a lot of sports have things where it's kind of like, and not to say that this one is like that, but you know, that part where you can kind of already know who's going to win the match. You know, it's like, you don't want this sport to become that way where it's looking like, you know, just because of the referee calling, you know, throwing yellow flags, you know, and just sending it out there that that's the reason why these guys are getting pushed back 10, 15, 20, 30 yards. You don't want to see none of that. You want to see good calls, you know, and that's at the end of the day, I hope that, you know, that's the main goal for not for Power Slap side, but for the official side and for the Nevada Commission, is that they're really going out there and really doing their job and cleaning up and putting if you already have eyes on it, make sure you have 2 sets of eyes, 3 sets of eyes, and real good ones too, like Mark, like Jason. Just have these people, even if you have you know, they say the double check. Nah, you need a triple check. You need a triple check on this stuff, just so that way it's like the officials watch the strikers, and then the officials behind the officials watch the officials making the call. And this is just the way it is. You know, it just has to have more eyes on this to make it a better sport. You know,
yeah, just to layer it up a little bit. Well, let's let's see what we got going on. So this is the final round, round 3. Let's do this thing. All right, Dorian's lining up.
So nothing changed from the brace from the second one. Stays the same. This one is going to be on a higher end. So he's going to lock in. He's going to try to use that thing where he, you know, tries to bring it up from the top. Then, bam, bam. He 6-dons it. Bam. So you notice in just the trajectory of the way his hand is, it went high. I immediately call for the eye. Oh, and this is my friend right here. Solar battery program backup.
That's right.
Sorry, I needed that at the fight.
I can't control it.
I needed a battery backup on this fight too. You know what I mean? I need to readjust. So look, check this out. Here we go. Stop it. Stop it right there, Joe.
Come on, I got you.
And reverse it back a little bit, because it's the best part about slow mo.
Slow mo is crazy in slap.
And I win this round because, you know, I saw my scoreboard and I win this round. So it's you know, technically this probably was the reason why. But once we slow it down and you watch, boom, that was a high one.
Okay, and the replay.
Watching the slow mo. Slow mo proves it all. And stop. Look at that. So look at where his thumb is. It's high on my hairline. It's literally on my forehead at that moment, nowhere near my eye. You can clearly see from the back where my ear is all the way to the tip of my chin, that whole area is completely open. And that's the target area right there, Joe. So anything above my hairline and my face is going to be a club. And that is literally his palm in my eye.
So my question is, for the people that might be watching and maybe they're newbies to the sport, they're not slap nerds yet. Is it like, could you draw, I hope this makes sense, dude. Can you like draw a triangle of where that target is on like a face?
Yes,
you know what I mean? Like
for sure.
Or a square. Does that make sense?
So it's usually indicated by a high line and a low line, right? And this kind of just gives you that variance of, okay, well, if I started here and then I do something weird and it drops like this, well then that would be me moving the target area by shifting my head down, by shifting my head up. See how the lines never go anywhere? The lines just stay there. So this would be considered your target area from this line here, not up here, this line here to the bottom of your chin, because anything past this is all club. So that's your target line, and these my two fingers are the indicators. And you know who really does good on those things is if you watch Slap City. Slap City, he's a solid.
Slap City is good at that shit. Yeah.
So he does those little indicators, and I asked him to make a video of this fight so that way we can kind of see where it goes. But he does those indicators to really not only just for the striking and for the foul or whatever it may be, but also for the defense, for the guy in the defensive mode, seeing whether if I'm here and I move my chin down out of that area, well then that's me flinching. If I move it to the side, that's me flinching. If I move it to the side, that's me flinching. So as long as it doesn't move out of that target area, that's where it's supposed to be. So if I put my finger, that's where it's supposed to land. So if I put, and this is exactly the target area that we were taught on Thursday in a meeting, rules meeting with literally the main person in the commission, Jeff, and Mark Smith, going like this with their hand, saying, "Hey, this to this is where you need to hit."
Got it. So they really are trying to like bring the point home to everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Got it.
Yep. So this whole entire time that I'm like, kind of doing this stuff and really looking around is because Chris Tione, before we even like say anything about my eye, he's already calling it a fair blow with no look back, no video return yet. It hasn't even did a return yet for the video, and he's already saying fair blow. And then now I know that it's in my best interest to call a doctor, because if I call a doctor up there and he notices that it is right directly in my eye, I mean, you can see his thumb mark is at the top of my forehead. Like that means that.
What kind of questions is the doc asking right now? Because like I was in the audience and you were facing us, so I could see him like pry that sucker open. What is he asking you? What is he doing?
Yeah, so he's asking me, obviously he's doing his job. He's going out there and asking me, "Hey, can you see? Is it blurry?" And I said, "Yeah, doc, you know what? It's a little bit blurry on this little corner of my eye. You see where the red is?" I was like, "It's a little bit blurry," but I tell him immediately. I said, "Look, doc, I am not the person to give up, and I would never be like, yeah, this fight is over. I'm going to go back out there and I'm going to hit him again, regardless." He's like, "But I just brought you," I told him, "I brought you up here so that way you can really see and indicate that it is in my eye. It's not down here. It's not over there. It's not in the back of my ear. It's right here in my eye. And I just want you to see that, doc." And he goes, "Yeah, I can completely see that." But then Chris Tione walks over and he tells me, "Hey, you and Dorian are getting kind of close to like leaning and flinching. You guys need to not do that." But when we watched the video back, there was no lean. There was no flinch on my end. I stood there and took the hit. So, there's a lot of controversy that's going on out there on the stage. And as you see this hit right here, you see how I'm just standing there kind of looking at him like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It's because I'm already defeated in my brain. I'm standing there wondering why Chris didn't call the flinch in the very beginning, didn't call the second club, didn't call the third club in that thing, and it's just going the way it's going. It's kind of just moving the way it is, and that's where I get my clear indication, right? My sources that, hey, we're not trying to call any of these fouls because we want it to be the best fight. We want, you guys are sluggers out there, so we wanted to see the best fight out of you guys. So no fouls were called.
Interesting. You know what's funny? I kind of heard that talk track in the cards in the Middle East, but the talk track that I was hearing was, well, the rules. What's the best way to say this? The rules aren't different, but they're more lax. Does that make sense? Like they're more open about, they want to see, as you put it, the show. Whereas stateside is supposed to be a bit more strict.
Yeah, of course. And I mean,
right or wrong, that just seems to be the case.
Yeah. But it should be like, I mean, doesn't matter whether it's stateside, whether it's international, whether the next fight is on Mars. It don't matter. it's gonna have rules, and if it's where rules can be bent, then that's a big problem, because then you're gonna start giving people false hopes of what they can do and what they can't do out there. What happens the next time where I go out there and I battle, and all I can think about is, hey, you know what? They just want to see a good long match. So no matter if I palm strike this guy right in his nose and I break his nose, they're not gonna call it. They're not going to call anything against me. They're going to let it ride. So let me go out there and just really try to kill somebody instead of just standing there trying to really try to slap and be accurate and do all the other things. It brings out a different beast in somebody when you start to not have rules. You don't want to have rules? Cool. Let's do it that way. Because then I'm just going to start doing other things that people will not, everybody's going to hate me at the end of the day, because I'm going to be the main guy that just leads with the palm, whacks people in their nose, tries to bust a nasal cavity, tries to whack some. I mean, I'll close my fist up if I have to. I don't care. Like,
No.
if you're not going to call it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. And I think honestly, I think everybody's with you as far as like consistency, right? Doing it the same every time. Now, it's not to say, I mean, they're human beings at the end of the day. So, there's going to be mistakes here and there. But I will say that there's been plenty of chatter since November about being more consistent. And I forgot who made the quote, but Slap News shared it. And my comment, they shared a quote from one of the refs. Oh man, I can't remember his name. But my comment when they posted that in the comment section was, at least this guy's talking about it. You know what I mean? Like, at least he confirms the discussions are happening and the progression to be more consistent is something that's on everybody's mind.
Yeah, 400%. Yeah. And with this battle against Dorian, all it does is just open my eyes. It opens my eyes to what it is. I take it as a lesson, and now I know, even with, Dorian's post interview and him talking about the power that I deliver, he says it. He's like, hey, he's got power, but if he's hitting like that, he's not gonna be able to do it to DeBell. And if he's not gonna be able to do it to DeBell, he's not gonna be able to do it to me. And it's just the way it is. He needs to. There's something that's not clicking. There's power there, but something else isn't making that right motion and movement. And he's right. That. I mean, I wanted to make a statement. Obviously I believe in God and I trust in God in everything that I do. And that's my main drive, my main focus. And to be honest, I walked out very calm, cool, and chillaxed, and not like how I was the very first time when I came out to hard work God first and really kind of was just pushing and really thinking about, like, this is what I was meant here to be. More of like that in trusting God was more, and I love it because other people were singing it, and there's, a lot of people in the crowd that just kind of fell in love with it. And that's amazing to me. My real message would rather be that than be the fake person. You know what I mean? Going out there and just like, oh, I'm about this and I'm about that. And it's like, it takes a different type of man to go out there and really claim God as his main person. You know what I mean? Everybody else kind of believe. The way I said it best today, talking to my other friends, is that, a lot of people put God's shell on the outside, but they don't wear him on the in. And then other people wear him on the inside, but don't show it on the out. And that's kind of with me. It's like, you have to fall into a category. You can't be where you have it on the inside and you show it on the out. There's a pull between what goes on, because we're still human and we're still part of the flesh and we still sin. So we're part of the world. That's a big part. It's going to pull you one way, pull the other. So I fall into the category that God is in me, and that's what operates and moves everything in here. And then on the outside, even though I project God and I put him first and I put everything out there, there's still the part of where the performance, everything else has to look good, and all the other things have to look clean. And that's outside of God's work, right? The perfection, he doesn't ask for perfection. He just asks for you to be yourself. But there's also a handful of people that are going out there that are putting God first and really putting him in the light. But then inside, they don't live that way. They fight a different battle inside.
Right. They project out something that isn't really what's in them.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes it's for the movement of how you feel like things should move. So you kind of just tell everybody that you're doing these things, but it's really not that you're really believing in, and then you kind of go back on your stuff. Cause a lot of like what we call the hypocrite, right? The somebody that is saying something out here, but their actions are completely different than what they're pushing out as words, and that's
the
what a game
mouth
changer
is close to him, but the heart is far from him. Yes,
far from him, and not a lot of people believe in that stuff. So that's where and not only that is even if you don't believe in it, it's just that you're just confused on what you're projecting and how you're doing all those things. And I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from this battle, from being at Power Slap 12, from really going out there. And I love everybody because I have a very huge heart, and I want to make sure that everybody does well out there. Whether you hate me or you love me, it doesn't matter. I just want you to do good, because the better you are, the better the sport gets. The better the sport gets, the more eyes we get on us the right way. Not just because we're just trashy people going out there calling each other out, slapping each other in the face, and really just getting drunk at the bar and then going in there and doing that bar backyard type stuff. Right. This has to be a professional sport at one point in time, and if it never grows from being a professional, like from being that backyard brawl type of sport, we're not going to see the things that we want to see in life. We want this to grow, and it's always going to be where it takes one step forward and 4 steps back every single time.
Yeah, dude. No, I don't disagree at all. I mean, so what do you think is the proper move? I mean, look, who knows how much say or influence you can have, but like, do you run this one back to prove it out again? Do you want to see another matchup, take on somebody else? Like, what do you think? Like, I know it just happened, but what do you feel is the next best move for you?
I'm gonna be really honest with you, Joe, and I did an interview with Corey the other day. That thing's gonna be out in the next couple days. I have a different type of heart for this thing. I've become obsessed with the craft, and the passion of it is just pours out of me. I love the sport itself, but I also feel like there's a lot of things that are just kind of just sideways in the sport that at this moment in time, and things aren't. Not to say that it has to work in my favor, but things are just not working for a lot of people, and not being caught on the back end. And it's just kind of, like I said it the other day, it's like it just puts a bad taste in my mouth about something that I really care about and I really love and I really enjoy. You know what I mean? It's like not so much going out there and getting slapped by another man, but more of the fact that it's become a sport that we can kind of pioneer and we can create and we can move around with it. And there's a lot of motion in this sport that could potentially just bring it up and just grow it. And right now at this moment it's not a progression, it's a digression. It's going down. It's not at the favor of the striker anymore. It's in the favor of the eyes and the views that we get on YouTube and we get on Instagram and we get on making all these other people be a part of this movement. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with the striker now. It has nothing to do with the striker.
Do you think that's part of so they just switched over to YouTube, right? It was this big splash. I mean, it was just announcement was everywhere. They're talking about, we talked about it a little bit. They're talking about potentially 2.5 billion views every time that you put that show on. Do you think that was just for that night, or do you really feel like that's part of the evolution?
It's part of the evolution. It's literally it's gonna be where the more eyes, the more influencers, the more people that you get involved, the more social presence, everything. It's part of the marketing. It's part of the branding. It's part of how this thing needs to grow, and that's the only way that it's gonna be. Just like how the UFC is, in the very beginning, you had people pulling hair, you had people kicking each other in the nuts, you had people, a sumo wrestler versus a stick. You know what I mean? It's just like a stick. That guy was skinny.
Yeah, no,
it was a
skinny.
sumo wrestler versus
I know
a
the
stick.
match. Yeah.
And I mean, who doesn't? And it's like it's the makings of a mixture between WWE and real fighting, and that's kind of crazy to me because it still can be that way where it's the performance of the WWE wrestler and the reality of not to compare it to UFC because it's nowhere near that, as a fighter or anything else, but to have some realism to it, where you can pretend and go out there and do your show and yada da 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 da, but still be able to whack somebody in the face and be, you know, definitive, like say, hey, you know what, this is real. I'm like, I walked into the tire place today to go and, you know, get one of the tires that obviously has been kind of losing air. I went to go fill it up today, and I spoke to the people that were inside the tire place, and they were like mind blown about Power Slap and that the fact that I'm involved with it, and it just blew their mind. It blew their mind, and like, how'd you get there? How'd you do this? Who started you? You know, and it's like,
Tell me everything.
there's a lot of questions, Joe. There's a lot of questions for all these people that they want answers. But you know what's the main question that people ask? Does it hurt? Like, yes, it's
Come
a slap,
on, son.
You're putting your hand behind your back. That's and like you're getting whacked in the face.
Bar sweet.
Come on, you're putting your hands behind your back and you're letting somebody whack you full force in the face. It is reality. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. Trust me. It's like, let me whack you in the face with a bat, mildly, just 30%, 20%. Let me whack you in the face with a bat.
Yeah,
you're gonna feel it. So,
so what's next, man? Like, I mean, and seriously, thanks for being honest and putting it out there. But but you're not gonna be pulling away from the sport anytime soon, right?
That's the get. Is that
You good, man?
Yeah. I'm good. I'm
solid.
For
the next step. It's just maybe for the next step.
It's more of that, you know, like I said, God has a purpose for me. It's for me to go out there and go and help others and go and teach people and go and coach people and really just be that beacon of light to show them that this is the pathway and these are the things that you need to do to slowly progress to be the best version of yourself. And that's what God's purpose and God's plan is for me, you know, to go out there and really deliver that same message over and over and over and over again, no matter if everybody just hates me at the very end, where they're like, dude, you say it all the time. And it's like, yeah, well, God's around you all the time, brother. So what? You're gonna shun him? You're gonna shun him because he's just always there? No. Dude, you gotta. It's that part where you gotta make the change. You gotta make the involve. Look at me. I've been in this sport for less than a year. I probably grown to be, and I know not to toot my horn, but I probably at this moment in this time, besides like my big brother, like the crazy Hawaiian and all the other dudes that are right around our circle, you know, probably the most influential, inspirational person right now in the sport is by me going out there and really just being that for other people, you know, talking to Andrew Fields about his family and about things that happened to him and his journey.
He's been through some shit lately.
Been through some stuff, you know, and not only that, Cody Young. I talked to Angel, and me and Angel, you know, we have that little sideways things that was going on, but at the end of the day, dude, I'm in the back. I'm in the back while he's signing posters, and I'm doing videos for him so that way he can post that stuff on Instagram, so that way he can get all that media content. It's like, at the end of the day, I don't hate people. I love everybody, no matter who you are.
There's rumors of no, dude, I can validate that. I've never seen you lose your shit with anybody. I've never seen you turn down a question. I know, you know what I mean?
No reason.
But I did. So they're going to start having these training camps, right? And I know you were a part of it a little bit this last time. Do you see yourself being more involved in Slap that way, running these like training camps, things like that to inspire, you know?
100%. Yeah. If I can influence the next generation of Slap fighters and strikers to kind of go out there and do what they need to do and really get the mindset dialed in, the physical side of it dialed in. I don't have to be their personal trainer, but I can be their life coach, you know, and like really help them through the process of being able to check off all the boxes in life, you know, whether it be financial, whether it be this, whether it be that, and how to balance things, you know, and to become a life coach at one point in time. And I think that's my biggest goal, is that, you know, to, you know, influence people and inspire people to be the best version of themselves and go out there and be able to train properly and do everything else. And I've had talks with Frank and with Erica about being a coach, you know, and in the very beginning when I spoke to Frank, it was more of like, hey, you know what? It's like you don't have enough battles underneath your belt to kind of make that step and kind of make that movement. But even with me not having all those battles, I probably have the most experience in a lot of the things, just speaking on stuff, watching things, learning, just being that person, like I really study every single aspect of the game. I don't look at one person different from the other. I look at it more as a whole, that everybody needs to learn certain specific movements, certain specific things to work within the rule system, not moving your feet, not pivoting, not doing all these things. And the more I start to implement the style and technique that I do, and then watching other people and watching their style and technique and really trying to hone them in on, okay, well, you don't have to change it to be like me, but these are the certain things that you could change to make you better at what you do. It's whether it's rolling your feet over, whether it's dropping your elbow too low and coming from the bottom, lifting your elbow up a little bit more so that way it comes straight across the center line. There's a whole bunch of different things that people need to implement in their style and technique that could change the game of the way they hit, the way that and not just, and it wasn't just only for the strikers. It was for the show. It's for the event.
Sure.
It's to make more accurate strikers, more accurate slappers that just, when they go out there, even though if it's not delivering all the power and all the kill in the world and knocking somebody out, at least they're clean, where you don't second doubt. Oh, was that a foul? Was that a step? Was that a club? Was that a flinch? Like, nah, there was none of that, because this guy practices and does repetition on the daily of how to not be that person, not to cause those things to happen. And to answer your question from before, is that as the sport progresses and the way it is, I start to slowly fall out of alignment with like the competitive side of it, where it's like me going out there and really just going out there and risking my eye and risking my jaw and risking my life at a moment where if people aren't going to catch on to that stuff and people aren't going to make the move, and people can call me what they want to call me at this moment, but if it's not in the safety of the striker and the safety of the people that are defending the strike, I'm not for it, man. That's not what I'm out here for. I'm out here for safety and safety only. Work within the rules. That's why there's rules in life. God put out God put out rules in the Bible. The Bible is the basic instructions before you leave this earth. Bible. That's what it is, and it's basic instructions before you leave this earth. It's a book of lessons, rules, rules that you have to follow. You don't follow those rules, you start finding yourself in different types of places, my brother. So it's the same thing in the sport.
Man, no, I'm just trying to think about and process what you're saying. Like, I feel like everyone would agree with you as far as like consistency with the refs and things like that. But it feels like you really kind of went inside yourself this weekend and taking it day by day. I'm not saying anything, putting anything out there, but you've really had some time to think about what you really like, how you really feel with everything, how it's growing and evolving. And man, I appreciate that. I really do. Cause you never know who's listening or watching, and you could just, inspire them to find the path that they want to go down.
Yeah. Whether it's the strikers, whether it's slappers, whether it's anybody at this moment, whether it's power slap, brass, and all the other stuff, is like I hope that any conversation I have from this point on, literally, if they watch this or they see it and they hear it, if they don't have to respond to any of it, but at least open your eyes, just a little bit. So that way you don't get caught up in the sauce and you're just all about the numbers and all about what's going on. Do we all love money and do we all need money at one point in time? Yeah, of course. Financial is huge to move around, right? But at the end of the day, safety is first too. You can't let somebody get striked in the eye without having a call happen. You can't, all that stuff, because what happened, just like I said earlier, what happens if my orbital would have been shattered from that hit, but no foul was called, nothing happened at that moment? Now I get to go home with a broken orbital, probably go through 2 to 3 months of finding a doctor to try to help me fix these things. Then by the time I get to a doctor to be able to fix my eye, he's going to tell me, hey, you know what? It's been about 2 months and your eye is probably almost partially healed already. And we really can't do anything about that because the crack in the orbital is down here and over there and all the other things. So you just kind of have to ride this one out. And then forever, I'm going to look like Blackburn, having that little lump underneath his eye all single time because there was an orbital shatter. I'm going to be like Edward, Salazar, got whacked by Brandon Rhodes right in the eye. And The same thing happened to him. He went back and spent a month trying to fix his eye, 2 months trying to fix his eye, and nobody really saw him. Even with the insurance, even with everything else, he wasn't able to get anywhere near getting anything done for his eye. And then when they did, he had to drive to a totally different state to do it because it wasn't collected for him from there. And then on top of that, when he got there, they told him that they couldn't do anything because of the moment and the timing, that it was already there already. So, long story short, Joe is like, I'm in the best. At the end of the day, I love my boss, them, and I love Frank and I love Erica and I love Dana and I love that they're doing stuff like this. But I also have a lot of love for the people that are in the sport right now and just kind of doing their thing and all the pioneers. I can only imagine how these people feel, the pioneers of the sport, and all the times that they've got missed clubs, missed flinches, missed this, missed that, and opportunities that probably got robbed or stolen from them at those moments just because of bad calls, and it's just like, we want views. We don't want bad publicity, we don't want things to go south and the whole card, because we've had them before, that the whole card is just people that club, and it's like everybody gets called for it. And it's like, okay, well, that's a bad show at that moment.
Yeah, and it's funny though. Like, I do agree. Like we've been talking. We don't want a card full of clubs, right? But I would rather see it go to a draw than have someone, break an orbital bone or something like that. You know what I mean? So there's just these different ways of looking at it, different little details that like need to be tweaked a little bit. And I know we don't want matches to go to draws, as an example, like when Paige and Crazy, that was such a they built those cards up so big because of those two matches, and for them to go to draw, no, let's be real, nobody wants that. But at the same time, I'd rather see a draw than something too drastic.
Yeah. Same here. Even if it wasn't a draw, that it has to go to sudden death, and it will have an extra match, and then it's the definitive answer of like who won that match or not. And that's cool. That's cool that it does that. At the end of the day, that at least we know that the calls are being made and people are really thinking about the striker in a sense of safety, instead of, hey, you know what? I'm not going to call that club, because if I call that club, it's going to stop the fight now and he's not going to be able to continue, and he's going to get, two fouls on his belt and that's it. And he's going to be called done. And, think about the safety. Hey, if I don't call this foul right now, potentially his eye might be gone. Something else might have happened to him. We don't know. You don't know how it is. So,
well, dude, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Like I said, I gotta bug some of these refs to come on. I've reached out to Jason a few times, but I need to bug the whole community. And maybe, dude, honestly, maybe we could throw together just like a table discussion virtually and have them all on at the same time and just get their take on that. I think that'd be super interesting.
Yeah, of course. Even with these new training camps that are coming up, there's going to be another training camp possibly coming soon. We never know, right? But just by Frank's words, there might be more training camps that are going to be happening. So now have the referees there. We sit there and we kind of go through the rule set of how things look. We review matches of like, okay, well, what happened here when this was supposed to be a call and it wasn't. So that way, at least we get a clear answer about what is really going on in the sport and how we're supposed to be out there.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. Hey, Pono, dude, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for sharing, your heart a little bit. And dude, whatever happens, we'll be watching. And thank you so much for coming on, dude.
Hey, Joe, I got one for you. You ready? You ready? Hey. Ready?
Can you tell I'm nervous to talk to you? It's not hot in here at all, bitch. Look at this. Dude, that was so much fun, man. Like, we're doing that again. I was telling wifey, I mean, obviously, I'm loud and like outgoing and like, I'm that guy. But for whatever reason, when I get in certain situations, and like that was one of them, I just like to stop and just watch, just like people watch. I don't talk as much, and man, I couldn't have been happier people watching that night. You guys were hilarious.
I know. My wife says it the best. You know, it's like me and Isaiah were separated at birth. You know.
For real, for real. Oh man, it was a shrimp-tastic night. I know that much.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
All right, dude. Let's let this bitch upload. One sec. Ooh. That's the end of part one. Yeah, it's 11:30 at night. I don't care. We're wrapping this shit up finally. Okay, now that you've seen the first part, you got to go to the second. Like, subscribe, whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying. If you can't see from these eyes, I am just fine. All right, fam. Go watch number 2.